moving forward for a while. Asshole. I meant to say it's an asshole. Funny. What asshole? Did it sound nice? I didn't mean that. No, it's really been fun to have him here. And I'm so excited to be here. Thank you for coming. Thank you, Joe, for having me. I love this theater, and I love Joe. And we have been doing this show now for 4 years, and just to be able to come to this cool neighborhood theater and do this show is so awesome. I love it. And I love that my name is on the marquee that says Lizz Winstead smashed. There's that movie called Smash, although it just looks like you're paying to see me drunk. Maybe. So, here's the thing. I have a bad knee. I live in Brooklyn, and I was walking. They built this stadium 3 blocks from my house for the Brooklyn Nets. Have you heard about this? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, so I was on the community board to stop it from happening. And we failed. Apparently Jay-Z's more popular than my neighborhood people. So that went through. So I now walk by it every day and go, fuck you, stadium, and I raise my fist just like that. It's like a ritual. I do it for myself. I'm just like, it makes me feel happy. So Christmas Eve, I was shopping for food because there's a co-op near the stadium. So it's just the juxtaposition's hideous. So I've got my bags, and I'm walking, and I'm like, fuck you, stadium, and I took a step on nothing. And wiped out completely. Went down on my knee, and my hands, and my oranges are rolling around, and I was like, really, fuck you, stadium? Because I cut my jeans, and I was bleeding, and I was like a 4-year-old, and then a 50-year-old, all into one. It's just horrible. So if I'm limping about, it's not like I'm a pirate. I actually have an injury. But anyway, so, oh my God. How many of you have come to this show before? No. Okay, good. So normally how I do the show is I categorize the show into like hunks of the year, like the year in, corporate malfeasance, and the year in politics, right. So I decided that this year was so intense that I had to whittle the show down from 4 hours of material to 90 minutes, and I was like, I can't have an opening act, I can only have my talented nephew. And then I just am kind of going to try to do it slightly chronological. So I decided what I would do is, I'm going to talk about the event sort of from election night to now, and then take us back to how the fuck we ever got to that point. It just seemed more reasonable because, I have been waiting with bated breath to find out what the fiscal cliff means. I don't know about you. And every day I'm like, is the show going to talk about the fiscal? What's going to be the fiscal cliff news? Will there be any? I don't know. But we will find out. Because it was such a crazy year with this election. I've never seen white people so on edge in my entire life, honestly. And I've never seen liberals more into technology in my fucking entire life as they were panicking to the run-up of this election. The insanity of people watching the polls, the psychotic poll. Did you do psychotic poll? Were you watching every poll? The Gallup polls, crazy. People were sleeping with their cell phones. People were like, masturbating to Nate Silver. They didn't know what to do. It was so crazy. Really, how many people here were on a Nate Silver binge where you found yourself in your underwear, eating food you shouldn't? I'm telling you, we need like a 538-step program. After this, it's insane. And my friends kept freaking out, going, what are we going to do? The polls say, the only thing polls tell you is how old people with a landline will vote. And the more liberal people got, the more freaked out they were this to me. Because if people were really, really panicked, I was like, you don't know many black folks, do you? Because if you think black folks are going to let this election get thrown, you are fucking wrong. Because all my black friends were like, I'm going to stand in line. I'm going to stand in line starting on the 3rd. My vote will count. And it was great. So I was like, great. So anybody with a lot of black friends was like, this election's going to be fine. And it was kind of just white liberals who walked around being all Whole Foodsy. Those are the ones who were super freaked out. Whole Foodsy, you know. Yeah, Whole Foodsy. It's a whole thing. You know, it's those Prius people who can spend a lot of money on chaos. We all know that. That's not, I mean, a lot of you are though, let's be honest. Because there is a smug superiority to you. You know, you kind of walk around with that smell of low carbon footprint. You have recumbent bikes and you all, you know, with your cooler on the back of your flag. And code bag from some various radio station that played shit at the time. You're like, I don't fucking hear about this country's music. I'll be honest, I don't. Sure, Cameroon has a fine, fine music scene. I don't get it. But election night was this. There was a solidarity, an unspoken solidarity that happened on election night. And it was so brilliant. Basically, I know 90% of you did what I did. I was sitting with some friends. The election returns came in. We're all watching, right? And then, at 11:18, they announced Barack Obama was the President of the United States, and I couldn't turn it over to Fox fast enough. Down. That's what I thought about that. Seriously, it was the Hidden Road. It was the most amazing thing ever to watch. Because you just sat there and looked at Karl Rove and he was like, it's gonna be happening. I purchased this election. It's happening. We can't call this. I have money on these things. I know. I personally have taken these votes and thrown them in the garbage. Now you see, here's the thing, dude. You could purchase all you want. What was so great is that these fucking assholes could not buy authenticity. It was so amazing! Right? And I was watching, this is one of my tip-offs, was so incredible. I was just sitting there one day and I was watching CNN, because I watch that for a change when I want to see people who are so stupid that it's not to be believed. Like, when you don't know where they stand, but they're dumb. And they had somebody from the Obama campaign and somebody from the Romney campaign blabbing on. And the guy from the Romney campaign was all smug, and he was like, well, in Ohio, you know, we knocked on 35,000 doors just Sunday. The guy from the Obama campaign goes, that's great. We knocked on 400,000. Because that's really what it boils down to. Anybody who thought that Mitt Romney had any kind of ground game, it's like Barack Obama invented the ground game. Mitt Romney's ground game was like in France going door to door, trying to convince people to join this club where you wear magical underwear and baptize dead people. Like, that's not you were never winning. That's usually how you lose, when you're not winning. And then when Megyn Kelly took that walk to the cave of shame or whatever place she was walking to, she stands up in her boots and says, well, I'm going to go check in that room where we have people who tell us things and see what they're doing. It was so great. And watching those super PACs spend it all, I am like, yes, you assholes. And to have to watch all this weird orange hair brigade in Mitt Romney's hotel room, Sheldon Adelson and Trump, and they're all just sitting there going, how did this happen? Blaming everyone, blaming the storm. Like Mitt was so interesting before the storm. And then my favorite was voter fraud. It's like, yeah, really, voter fraud. There's more cases of women getting prostate cancer than there was with voter fraud. There's more illegitimate raping going on than voter fraud. I mean, it's so insane. And then Ron just started cutting off the credit cards that night. Staffers couldn't get home. He wouldn't let people pay to get home. He was like, we're done here. I'm like, wow, you've never been more efficient as you are shutting people down. And in Minnesota, man, you guys must have been tearing your hair out. I know. Here. There was so much good and so much almost good. I mean, Michelle Bachman had 1 foot in the graves. Oh, you're gonna thumbs down, honey. You got a long way. You're gonna thumb down now, honey. Oh boy. And you're in the front row. You're fucking stuck. You were sad. I thought you were like, not so good of a joke. Oh, okay. No, I got it. Okay, good. Like all of a sudden, this is the voice. Here, let me just do my jokes like this, and then we'll spin out. But both of those amendments, wow! And I have to tell you, I came back here and did a whole bunch of those house parties, and it was really fun. And I love, that amendment went down in such a Minnesota way that it made me endlessly happy. Because it was like, you could just hear these people, like moms, who weren't sure, sitting in that voting booth going, well, you know, I don't know if I like 2 guys getting married, but I don't want to be a jerk about it. Potholes, maybe they could let them get in there, but until they fix some stuff on my street, maybe they shouldn't be into all this business. And do you know what's awesome? If these assholes have to go someplace else. For this, and I just found this, and I was like, I fucking hate these people. They are anti-marriage people wearing, marriage is for straight people t-shirts, dressed in weird plushy outfits, being all smug. Which, first of all, they're 2 different animals. So they defeat their whole fucking t-shirts. Like, I don't even get it. They're so stupid. Well, we're all for lions and tigers fucking. Louis. Oh my God. It was so awesome. That letter was so brilliant that I could not even believe that I was like, he is a genius. And I was jealous. I hate when I'm jealous. I hate when I'm jealous. Like the word God monster. I didn't think of it. Yeah. But it was great. So the Dems took control of both houses of the legislature, and then there was the awesome Amy Koch scandal. I know, she's really great. Because when I really another just anti-gay crusading person who has an affair. I'm like, who cares? You know, I just thought, what makes this interesting? The fact that she didn't have an affair with someone of her same sex, because that's always the way it goes down, right? It's terrible. We cannot have, you know, same-sex marriage while he's being blown. You know, every time, constantly. But then it went off into my head where I was like, wait, didn't Amy Koch have an affair with that guy in the chicken suit? And so I got to Google, Amy Koch has an affair with guy in chicken suit. And I was proven right, which was great, because the picture comes up with the guy in the chicken suit who was at the Democratic Convention thing, and I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. Now we can make all these, you know, clucking her, you know, Chick-fil-A, you know, come on, I'll stop. That one is a grumble. I admit, but you have to admit, it's kind of hilarious, Chick-fil-A. Sometimes you're giving gifts. Now there's 20 women in the Senate. That is so great. I love that. So Elizabeth Warren, she makes me endlessly happy. You know how you know Elizabeth Warren's so great? When she keeps talking, people like her more. With politicians, that never happens. Usually they keep talking and you go, oh right, that's why I hate you. But they're talking. And then we just flossed out so much of the bad. You know, Jordan McCullough, you know, out of the team. Joe Walsh out of the team, and Ellen West, I don't even know what that was about. But they're gone. They're gone. And Obama even won Florida. A week later, but he won Florida. Florida cannot get its shit together. Seriously, Florida. I mean, I guess, you know, when you are a state that is just, you know, basically a flaccid penis. I don't know what we expect from that. We should expect nothing. It's the saddest state. But your state should be in 2 bathtubs and an ad. It's a problem. Weirdest commercial ever, isn't it? Why do we have that? I don't understand it. Why do you have an erection drug and at the end no one ever has sex? It's so fucking weird. It's like, try this drug, and then your kitchen becomes a new carnival. It's like, is this acid, or is this help? If you've never seen my show, I have a lot of tangents I go off on. It needs to be well respected. So we'll get there. We're going to be here for hours. Just kidding. But, so in that respect, the election was really, really good for progressives. And really, really, really good for gay pot smoking progressives. I mean, it was evident, you know, where they're legalizing pot in states, and, you know, there's 4 different marriage amendments that, you know, went the way that people who are for, you know, happiness would want. And yet still, the conservatives were harping on the fact that the problem was their candidate wasn't a true conservative. That was the problem. The candidate needed to be more conservative. Which makes it official. We have a crisis in white medicine. Insane how out of control it is in white medicine. Like, they can't help themselves. You know, Mitt Romney is fresh off being a giant loser and then says that the reason Obama won was because of the gifts that he gave people. Did you get your Obama gift? Wasn't it awesome? I know, I love my gifts. So they keep coming, the gifts. And it was like, God, can you just not realize you lost? And then poor President Obama has to have lunch with that fucking Mitt Romney. Like, organize that. Like, why do you have to have that? The guy has been shitting on him like for 6 years. And then it's like, oh, you want to come for lunch? And then the son says he didn't want to be president anymore. Yeah, I don't know which son, the one with tag or trip or triage or trachea, trap. years. It's so ridiculous. I just can't believe it. And then the battles are raging. I mean, John McCain is really, I don't know what's going on. I think he's got blockage. Is there anyone more angry than John McCain? I mean, he just is so riddled with hate. It's like, can't you retire and go visit someone or something? There's no flavor of pudding that would lure you into going to a place. Seriously. They just need to order him one of them step-in bathtubs and get him the fuck out of the city, man. Was so fucking shameful. I know, I'm telling you, it was so unbelievable. And that is just like frothing at the mouth to get on that committee just so we could shit on her again. It's like, what's wrong with you? And then he gets his way. And then and it's going to be John Kerry, of course, which they're all fine with because they can put that ridiculous centerfold back in. Oh. Then John McCain hates Chuck Hagel. I think this is just like, maybe Barack Obama is just purposely trying to slow torture John McCain by nominating everyone he hates to cabinet positions. It would be sort of genius, right? To get these people. Maybe Sarah Palin might be. I mean, it was just relentless crazy. And then we got a little bit of a fun little respite with the Petraeus scandal. That was fun. That was full of all kinds of fun, right? First of all, you're looking at Petraeus going, really? That guy's got it all? He seems like somebody you might have sex if you lost a bet. Not that I make those kind of bets, but you throw in that guy. You know, the guy with the ears. But then again, it's just manna from heaven for comedians. It's like, so if Petraeus is having an affair, that's weird. Yeah, with his biographer. Really? She wrote a biography? Yeah, it's called All In. Seriously. Petraeus' biography is called All In. Why didn't you just call it I'm fucking David Petraeus? I mean, that whole thing was crazy. It had twins, and there was people sending and texting pictures and emailing. I think it's fine to email pictures or text pictures of your half, whatever self. But here's just what I think is a rule. It's kind of a on-request kind of thing. You don't text on spec. Don't make that assumption, like, hey, I'm going to send some photos of my junk over. Surprise! You're sitting with your mom at the nursing home trying to figure out why Alina hasn't delivered the oxygen. And boom, there's a big erection on your phone, and that's sometimes you don't want to be surprised with a big George O'Keeffe painting in your phone. It just feels like, why on earth do these people think they can get away with it? You know, and then it just keeps happening, and we just keep going more forward, and all the while, it's just like, you think there's a break, you think that somehow there was an election and a message. People weren't particularly psyched about their take on ladies. Maybe we should look at them differently, like humans. Maybe if we're the Congress, we've been sort of, pistol whipped by the electorate. When we pick some leadership of our committees, we should pick a woman. Or not. They went with not. 1A chairmanships. 19 of them white guys. Then they were like, oh, people are still pissed about that. All right, well, we have one slot open. We'll give that to a woman. And do you know what the name of the committee was that the one Republican woman is heading up? It's called the Congressional Housekeeping Committee. Yes. Yes. By the way, you can Google everything I say tonight because it's all true. Except for the maybe why you fight book and fucking Joan First. She didn't. Yeah, the Congressional Housekeeping Committee. So, it just shows your party is sort of dumb. And then I was thinking, these people are so, they're just floating out to sea with their ideas, these Republicans. And then I was like, well, maybe in ancient Mayan, the word world means Republican. So when it was supposed to be the end of the world, we all just read it wrong because it was just translated inaccurately, and it is the end of the Republicans. Because they are dumb. And the party, they're so dumb, I think they book 4 nights in Branson. They're dumb. And so as they're fucking around with their craziness, we just keep inching closer and closer to this fiscal cliff or curve or whatever the fuck we call this thing. And I'm like, what are you doing? What's John Boehner? What kind of leader? He's really bad at his job. It's true, Rachel mad at it, the whole thing. She was like, John Boehner's just bad at his job. He's really bad at it. And he's a drunk. He's drunk and he's bad. There's no worse company. He acts like a big drunk who doesn't know what to do with responsibility. I can't. I just don't. And when he does get enthused, he fights tirelessly for the second homeless. What's wrong, dude? What are you doing? And you look at John Boehner, and he just looks like every evil stepdad in a Lifetime movie. And it seemed like they were kind of doing okay. It sounded like there was maybe going to be some compromise. I don't know about you, but I was sort of furious when all of a sudden I heard that Obama put Social Security on the table for some weird reason. Somebody needs to remind me he won. Dude, what are you doing? Get that off, okay? So it's okay, Social Security's on the table, that freaks me out. And then all these $750 billion of Medicare cuts, and you're like, okay, well, if you're cutting $750 billion from Medicare and you're cutting Social Security, should we really even call them Medicare or Social Security? Should we just call them Medi and Social? Because there's not really much care or security. I'm freaked out at this point. But it's not, and they just keep talking about how there needs to be this shared sacrifice. And I don't really know what their interpretation of shared sacrifice is, but I think maybe when you're given tax breaks for 8 years because you're going to create jobs, and then you don't create jobs, in fact you send jobs overseas, and then the people who are expecting those jobs don't get jobs, and so they don't pay into the Medicare and the Social Security, and then they're collecting unemployment, and that's going to run out, and then they can't get more money, they'll get less money when they collect the Social Security. Then guess what? They've shared. They've shared. I don't know what you've shared,